All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Claire. I'm with For the Punks. If you don't know, For the Punks is a music and arts publication that is dedicated to helping creators and fans connect, learn, and grow. Today, I'm joined by Sam Treber of Short Fictions. So welcome, Sam, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, and kudos for pronouncing my last name correctly.
You're welcome. I did my research. All right.
All right.
So I'm really excited to chat with you guys today. You've obviously been working pretty hard lately, and we'll get into that later. But for those watching that may not know Short Fictions, could you introduce yourself and give a history of the band, like how, when you guys got started working together?
Okay, let's see. Short fictions. We started in like 2014 or 15. I think our first show was 2015 actually. And we did like we were just like bad, and we did not leave Pittsburgh for many years. And then somewhere we were like, okay, let's be good. Let's tour, let's write listenable music. So we've only been on the people's radar for like the past 2 or 3 years, but we've been around for forever.
Hmm. And how long have you been into music? How long have you been playing and working on music?
Like as short fictions or just like personally?
I mean, you personally.
Pretty much always. My mom is a musician. She plays viola in an orchestra, community
Wow.
orchestra. Yeah, so I've pretty much been around music my whole life, and she was also into like non-orchestral music as well. So I got the early exposure to some of the classics. She's from New Jersey, so Bruce Springsteen, uh just Bruce Springsteen.
Classics. And so is there a certain genre that you would classify short fictions as?
That's a good question, because so many people, I feel like we do well in like the emo blanket, but I feel like we, as time goes on, we kind of move further away from like, I don't really like being called emo personally, because it gives the wrong idea. At this point, I'd say we're kind of more like indie rock with like a emo flair. We're
Mhm.
pretty well embraced by the fifth wave community too, and I do like that because even that feels less restrictive. And then sometimes we're just a screamo band too, so we're all over the map. We just follow our hearts.
I think it's nice to not have to stick to one genre. I feel like that is a big thing for bands. Like you don't want to be just like a rock band anymore. I know a lot of artists that are kind of on that same path that they don't really fit in with one genre. They kind of do it all.
Yeah, and I think if you do, I mean, I don't know. It's the better bands, I feel like, can't be confined to one. And if
Hmm.
you are one, I mean, that's fine too, but
You have to do it really well.
yeah, yeah. Less room to grow.
That's a great point. That is a really great point. So you guys obviously had a little bit of a hiatus, but you wasted no time getting back into the game. And I'm referring here to your new single, Don't Start a Band, as well as your signing with Lauren Records. So congratulations on both of those. Those are some pretty big achievements to just hit the ground running with. Could you elaborate a little bit on how you think signing with Lauren Records is going to impact your work as a band? Like, what kind of opportunities do you think this is going to bring to you?
It's pretty sweet. We've all been Lauren Records fans for a while. They've got some really big names on their label. A lot of them have gone on to even bigger labels, and that's kind of what was like so appealing when we first met Aaron, who runs Lauren. He was like, I'm not the biggest label, but I can help you get to a bigger platform. He was like, I worked with Adult Mom, for instance, and then springboarded them onto bigger things. And, I want you to succeed beyond Lauren if possible. And I said, that's great. It's nice to have someone with more connections than myself, who
Yeah,
I have no connections other than Lauren Records at this point.
yeah. That's the name of the game is growth, I think. And so signing on to that is going to be really huge for you guys, it seems.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, so moving on to the song, the title Don't Start a Band is a fairly self-explanatory title. but I would love it if you could maybe give your perspective on that and talk about how you were inspired for the song or where the ideas came from.
Yeah, well, if you are in a band or have ever been in a band, then I think you understand the sentiment. I mean, I say it's important to note that it is satire because being in a band is the most rewarding, fulfilling thing that I've ever done in my whole life. That being said, it's just like I'm I'm getting older and I still just have no money whatsoever because every time I have disposable income, I funnel it into music. And that's what that's what I want to do. But it's just like imagine imagine where I would be if I didn't have to uh funnel all of my time and energy and money into a hobby that probably most likely won't like bring many fiscal returns, at least not anytime soon.
Mhm.
Um,
You know
but
what,
again,
though? You wouldn't have as many fun stories.
that's
So,
what I'm saying, and that's what it's all about. Especially now, while we are still young, it's like you might as well take the time to do these things. And even though I've officially transitioned from my mid 20s into my late 20s now at the ripe age of 26. But even still, I feel spry and young as ever. Don't
mhm.
let people on the internet tell you that life ends at age 21. It doesn't.
That is a great point. And I think that I know you are talking about it specifically in terms of being a musician, but I think that is so true for the music industry as a whole. Recently, I heard the sentiment of like, you love your job, but you hate your job. You know, it's awful, but it's so much fun and it's great. And it's something that I think is very hard to explain to people outside of the music industry. So I do really like the sentiment of the song. I think that's really great.
Nice. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And speaking of your song titles, I really do adore them. I think you have some very creative and wonderful titles. Just to tease a few for people that may not know, one I have written down here is Fate's Worse Than Death, Part One. I don't want to wait out the apocalypse with anyone but you. And yes, that is one song. And we've also got an airplane crash at the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro and Property of Pigeons. So I just would love to know maybe how you go about titling your songs because they are just so creative and such wonderful titles. And this was just a few of many.
Well, thank you so much. I really love like lofty, long-winded titles. When I was like first getting into like DIY music, my favorite bands, of course, were like um, Empire, I Was a Lonely Estate, and of course, The World Is a Beautiful Place, and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, just long titles are so fun, especially when it's like, I don't know. I personally don't like really read into song like even on my favorite albums ever, I might not necessarily know what a song is called. It's just like, oh, this song goes like that. So you might as well just have fun with the titles. And a lot of them are like just like straight literary references. Short fictions has often had like a theme of uh being referential to literature,
Mhm.
short fictions.
Yeah.
So some
Makes
of
a
them
lot
are
of
just straight lines out of like poetry or like books. And then other ones are just like other ones I've come up on my own, but didn't inhibit myself to having a character limit or anything.
sense. Very nice. Very nice. Do you have a favorite?
That's a good question. I like the one that's I hate everything in my life and I never won't. Because once that song came out, we were all just like saying that all the time, anytime like anything would minorly inconvenience us. And it was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. That's great. I just really do love all those names. I think you guys have, especially the album titles too. I think they're all just so creative. And they're mostly literary references, it sounds like.
A lot of the time, yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. And so moving on to your plans for 2022, I noticed you guys have some live shows planned in February. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So yeah, we're doing a week-long tour in the Midwest, which every year we tour in the Midwest in like February, and then we end up regretting it because there's like a foot of snow on the ground. So hoping for the best in that regard. But yeah, we're doing some shows with the band Your Arms Are My Cocoon, which is a band that like kind of just really blew up in the last year, and I really like them, and I think they like us, so pretty cool to be touring with them. We're doing 3 days with them. But yeah, we got some shows.
That's great. That's really exciting because obviously you guys haven't been performing. A lot of artists haven't been for the past couple of years. So it's definitely great to get back into that live space.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we did like 3 weeks total last year, which was like we wanted to do like 150 days and we ended up doing like 30. But yeah, as much as we can tour, we want to.
Yeah. Any other specific cities you'd like to go to that you haven't had the opportunity to yet, or maybe just on this trip you're not quite there yet?
Yeah, well, we did the West Coast like a year, I guess like 2 years ago now. Jeez, but yeah, so often now we'll post our tour dates and people will be like, when you come to the West Coast.
Mhm.
So I think we should be getting out there sometime this year. That'll be fun. And we were supposed to tour in Japan in 2020 as well. Obviously, that didn't happen. I would love for that to happen again, but that's like remains to be seen.
That would
Any
be a
other
fun
any
experience.
foreign country would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Have you guys been to Japan? Was supposed to be your first foreign country as a band? Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
How did you get that opportunity?
Apparently the style of music is pretty big over there, and we were going to tour with Origami Angel. This was like right before they like super blew up. And now obviously they're like way out of our league.
Like,
So
hey,
it would
remember when we were gonna tour in 2020?
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. We're still homies. Like every time they come to town, we hang out, but yeah, we can't tour together anymore. Unless they want to. Hey, hit us up. We're free.
Yeah, there you heard it here first. Are there any you said you want to go to the West Coast, any plans to go East Coast or even international again, or are those both kind of on the back burner as you look for this Midwest tour?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think there are some tentative plans to move further out, but they haven't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they're set in stone yet, but hopefully we'll see here in the future.
Yeah, what about any other big plans in terms of maybe albums or songs getting released? Anything that you can tease at this moment?
Yeah, well, I never know, like I don't think it's a big deal per se, but I'm not like at liberty, I don't think, to play all my cards right now, but
No
suffice it to
pressure.
say, yeah, suffice it to say, you haven't heard the last of us this year.
Very good. Well, I look forward to your to hearing some new short fictions. I've been listening to you guys for the past few days, and I have to say, they are definitely worth checking out. You guys have a lot of really great stuff. And Don't Start a Band is just, you guys kind of, hit the ground running, like I said before, just came right back into it. So that's great. I'd also love to ask, what made you guys start again? Did you just take a break and then decide kind of to come back to it, or was it like a quarantine
Well,
thing?
yeah, well, that's the interesting thing is because we've been sitting on new music for so long. Also, our last album came out like in December of 2019, so it seems like we've been gone for 2 years, but it's actually only been like one and some change. But
Yeah.
yeah, because we recorded we recorded new music, and then we were like, well, let's wait until things get a little bit better, COVID wise. And guess what? They never did.
Yep.
So then we were like, well, let's not sit on this any longer. It's been too long. It's time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Well, like I said, I really look forward to hearing all of your new music. You've earned another fan here. So
All
next time you
right.
guys are in New York, I will be there. And
Oh,
I
hell yeah.
encourage everybody else to go out and support you guys, especially if you're in the Midwest and you're free in February. Go check out this tour.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for all your kind words, and thanks for
Welcome.
having me.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Sam.
Absolutely.